High school was not a good time for me. There are some people who want nothing more than to go back to high school. I am not one of those people. I learned an awful lot about life, and I learned a lot about me, but I'm not prepared to go back. When I was 14, I felt quite ostracized. I had moved from province to province. I was in a new school, and I never quite adapted to being in this new environment with people I didn't know. I felt like I had no friends, and I felt like I totally just didn't belong anywhere. And a girl that I went to school with said to me, "Hey, why don't you come to my youth group? We meet at our church on the weekend." And I said, "Wow, somebody wants to hang out with me. This is good." So I went, and there was this guy there. There's always a guy. And he was just so charismatic. Like, he had command of the entire room. Everybody just really was wanting to be around him, and it kind of helped that he was cute. And then he came over to talk to me. And I thought, oh my God, he's talking to me? And I had this warped sense of gratitude that I was somehow worthy because this guy was coming to talk to me. And so we talked all night, and he said to me, well, do you want to go out on a date? And I'm like 14, he was like 17, he was already living on his own. And I'm like, yeah, I want to go on a date, because I'm thinking this is going to get me some cool points. This is going to get me to a place where people are going to look at me and go, wow, look what she has. So I went home, lied to my parents, and so he came and picked me up. And I said, like, this is great, thank you. And I still had this sense of gratitude. And he said to me, he goes, do you mind if we go back to my place first? I just got off work, and I just want to have a shower and get cleaned up before we go out. And I went, well, that's kind of weird, but sure. Like, what do I know? I'm 14. I don't date. This is new. Maybe this is how normal people do it. So get in his car, we go to his place. He has a shower, and he comes out without a top on, and he says, I'm just kind of tired. Can we just, like, stay in and watch a movie, and I'll order in some food? And I started feeling really uncomfortable. And I thought, like, do I just leave? Do I phone somebody to come and pick me up? And I thought, well, if I leave, then how do I go back to this youth group? How do I hang out with these people who, I want to belong with? My friend won't think I'm cool if I just ditch this guy, and I don't want to be a coward. I want to hang out with this guy. So I talked myself into staying, and I shouldn't have. So it's no wonder with this hashtag #MeToo that's going on out there that I am going to have some thoughts around it. And really, I have a lot of mixed feelings. I really don't know what it's trying to achieve. I'm not clear. Is it trying to create an empowerment for women? And if so, is it actually doing it? Is it actually making us more empowered, or is it giving us the illusion of being empowered? Because that's two very, very different things. I want hashtag #MeToo to really step into creating clarity around what is sexual assault, what is sexual harassment. I don't know. Like, I don't know if you guys know. I don't think I'm clear. Is it forced penetration? Is it catcalling? Is it simply the way I might feel about a situation? And as a woman, if I don't understand, how can I expect men to understand? Who is going to make it right and understandable for them? So I have a lot of conversations with my son and other men in my life, and I think, I don't know how to explain this to them in a way that they won't cross a line without knowing it's been crossed. So if somebody calls me sweetheart, I'm like, all right, this is nice. I'll take some of that love. This is good. The next woman might think it's sexual harassment. So does that guy say nothing to anybody that might be construed as either nice or sexual harassment? Where is that line? So I don't get anybody to call me sweetheart anymore because somebody else over there might get offended. So men are in this really ugly place of not being able to understand what's going on. And there has been this, like, it's not okay for men to want to yield power over women. But now we've reversed that, and now these women are yielding power over men, and we're not even telling what the rules are, because we don't even know these rules. So how can we be empowered by a movement when we don't understand the rules? And then you have this movement, which moves into another movement, which creates more us and them situations, and there's a more polarization that goes on. And pretty soon, we don't know how to talk to each other anymore because we're on opposing sides or perceived opposing sides of an issue. So what do we do? How do we have conversations? And then we agree to this movement, and then it's really easy for us to slide into this movement or this movement without knowing what any of them are actually trying to achieve. So what do we do with them? We have these movements that are now replacing criminal justice. With every other crime, there is due process. You accuse somebody, you go to court, you present evidence. But not with these movements. These movements, you just have this, the public deciding on what's okay and what's not okay. And lives are being ruined, whether people are guilty or not. And we think this is a good thing. We think this is progress somehow. So in high school, I didn't say anything. And I should have said something, but I didn't. Because I didn't think I was going to be believed. And back then, I probably would not have been believed. Here's a nice Christian boy. Everybody loves him. And then there's me who has no friends. So if I could have gone back and done things differently, I would have trusted myself. I would have put some faith in the value that I have as a human being to not put myself in a situation like that. But I didn't have that value. And I often wonder how many more women did this man do things to? And is that my responsibility? See, I think it's really important to understand our part in things. And this is not about placing blame. This is not about blaming the victim. And this is not about saying what this guy did to me was okay. This is about understanding this dance that happens when we engage in relationships, and all types of relationships, whether it's work relationships or marriages or adults and children, or any time we have an interaction, there is a dance. And I had to spend a lot of time thinking about what my part in that dance was. And it's this accountability piece that has moved me to a place of being okay with what happened, moving to a place of forgiveness and empowerment. You see, it's not a hashtag that's going to empower me. It's my ability to look at my part. So I spent time with it. And I realized that I was using this guy to gain status. I was using this guy to get some cool points. And he was using me for all of his own reasons in his own way. So when we look at our part in things, we can actually start seeing the whole picture. I didn't deserve to be raped. Nobody deserves that. But until I look at how that situation is, how do I have conversations with other people about what's going on and what happened? I really think when there's a big difference between some 5-year-old being assaulted. There's a big difference between somebody walking down the road on their way home from school and having a van pull up and take them away and then rape them for 3 days. Those aren't the situations I'm talking about. Those are an entirely different level of assault. What I'm talking about is the interaction that most women that I speak to have experienced. But these movements say it's okay for us to just point blame, to just look at the other person and say, oh, well, it's all their fault. It wasn't all this guy's fault. Is he a douche for doing what he did? Yeah, but it wasn't his fault. Not entirely. I put myself there. I participated. And we have these witch hunts. And since the beginning of time, a witch hunt has not accomplished anything. But we point these fingers and we don't even think about the collateral damage that happens. And I think we need to spend some time in that arena. If we are going to follow a cause, we have to understand the flip side of that cause. And what is the damage that's being done? I don't want to be a part of a process that is creating this collateral damage. And some of these men are just being treated that way. And when I was in high school, I was treated like collateral damage, and I didn't like it. We need to start seeing how, when we get on board with something, it is impacting those other things around us. It is there that we start building connection, that we start understanding the experiences of other people. And I wish for all of you just to take the time to think about what it is that you are supporting and to consider being part of the problem, or part of the solution, not part of the problem. And I'm not saying that #MeToo is the problem, but I'm not entirely sure it's the solution. And I would like you to take a few moments to think about what you think about.